secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. What can we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, you know me, I got no time to waste. Type of energy that can't be replaced, no debate. We can take it back to my place. I can turn around, let me show you how it tastes, yeah. A baller, mind on the dollar. Swallowing the bottle while you're smoking on gelato. Now do you need some of that noodle? Just tell me that you're coming through. What can we ever What can we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. What can we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you so much for joining me, Christian Julian. I also go by Koju here at Odyssey Racing League for round 4 of GT Europe, Sundays at 7 p.m. CEST. This is of course round 4. We are at Oulton Park. We have 2 more rounds left in our 18th season here at Odyssey Racing League. Round 5 next week will be at the ever beautiful, ever most amazing track in the world, Spa-Francorchamps. And then our final round will be at the Red Bull Ring, going all the way to Austria for that final round. But enough about the final round and round 5. We're going to be talking a little bit more about today and get right into the action. However, just to show you all a little bit more about what we do here, we don't just hold GT Europe. We do also have a GT Americas, a GT APAC, and an After Hours series. So in case you're more interested in joining or learning more about those, you can also find us at the socials at the bottom of your screen, discord.gg/Odyssey Racing League, or you can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Odyssey Racing League. You can also find us on X at ORL_official. You're also watching us live on YouTube, so don't be afraid to subscribe, hit that notification bell when we go live, because we're going to go right into the action. Qualifying has already commenced. We are on board with the number 21 Alpine. This is the GT4 Alpine. Let me actually get the correct standings tree there for you. That's not the correct one. That's not the correct one. That's the correct one. This is number 21 Alpine. Juan Diaz is behind the wheel of this Alpine. Juan with a very, very strong showing here at Odyssey Racing League Season 18. I believe Juan is in the lead, if not fighting for the lead for GT4s. He is in P2 overall for the GT4s. However, he is tied with the third place driver, which is Alexander Fedorenko. Alexander is on the track as well, and the leader of the GT4s, which is Caleb Jones, actually is on the track as well. So we're going to be keeping an eye on them to see where those three drivers finish their qualifying, because that is your podium fight right there. Hello, Wendy. How are you? I see Joe eliminated here, but muted because fam is watching football. Not a problem, dude. Racing is like one of those acceptable things where you can have it on the side monitor, and it's totally fine. You can have the volume off, like just have it there, and just watch it on the side. I mean, that's what I do a lot. I just watch a lot of races. Like I put it on the side monitor when I'm doing something on my main one. Nothing wrong with that. However, if it's an Odyssey Racing League race, you gotta put that on the main screen. You gotta put that on the biggest TV you have, on actually not even the biggest, on all of the TVs and all the screens that you have. You gotta put them all on. All of them have to go on to our racing. Oops, that is not somebody that's on the track. Let's go to somebody that's on the track. Wendy says he's totally not Emre. Okay, well, I'll believe you. To the top of the standings, Mr. Jones goes. The number 48, Janetta, disappeared for a second there, but reappeared right before our eyes. In the lead now, provisional pole for the GT4s, 141.375. Not too far off is Juan Diaz, 141.735, and then right after him, Alexander Fedorenko, 142.270. So not too far off between the top three drivers. It starts getting a little bit of a bigger gap after P4 and P5. However, with all of the multi-class racing that's going on, as we see the barrel just get thrown aside like that, the tire barrel, and a nice little Need for Speed skid there by Caleb Jones, who saves it, but unfortunately goes off track, and that's going to be ending his qualifying run right there. Another car deciding to hit the tire barrier. What did the tire barrier do to you guys? Just y'all woke up today and chose violence, huh? I know it's Oulton Park, and it's not the greatest track in the world. Racing fans, this is not my favorite track, and I will let you know now. I do not like this track. I will say it all night. I'm not a fan of this track. For single make racing and open, like smaller open wheels, I think it's amazing. But for a multi-class race, it's tough. There's like going to be nowhere to pass, and you have to set up your passes a couple corners in advance. So the strategy here is going to be different. Oulton Park, I would consider Oulton Park higher tire degradation than, let's say, as we have. That is not pretty, as we did see Michael try to go back into the pits, and then he just get a nice surprise from behind. That was we're gonna chalk that up to Oulton Park pit lane, because it's very, very deceptive on where the entrance is, and it's also terrible. It's probably one of the shortest pit lanes I've ever seen. It's either a fight between Oulton Park or Donington Park that have the worst pit lanes. They're so small. It's like 5 cars fit in the pit lane. Look, you can see, like, all the cars are like... none of the cars fit in the pit lane. Mo Lunar. 721 McLaren, too low for you. The number P11 so far. Oh, yeah, it looks like the GT4s are officially over with their qualifying time. So your provisional pole leader for the GT4s is going to be Caleb Jones. P2 is going to be Juan Diaz. And P3, Alexander Fedorenko. Those are your podium placers for the GT4 class. Right now, it looks to be like the GT3s are out. If I can get you the correct... You know, this standing tree is not... It's not very nice. There we go. It definitely has something against me. I did not have fun driving this on Thursday. Tim Gargle Samater said he did not have fun on Thursday. And I'm telling you, it's not a fun track. Yeah, I much prefer other tracks. still keeping an eye on the GT3s as they start coming around the last couple of turns. We're going to see them start their official qualifying times. They are allowed to slow down a little bit on their outlap to increase the gap between themselves and the car in front of them, to give themselves a better advantage during qualifying. Because during qualifying, you do not want to catch up to the car in front of you when both of you are on valid laps, or especially when you are on a valid lap. All right, so the first GT3s start crossing the finish line, which will mean that they are now on official flying laps. First driver to be out on the official lap is going to be the number 196. And if I remember correctly, these are the rookies. So the number 196 is driven by Marcus Craven. He's going to be the first car to cross the finish line on a valid lap if he does not go off track. I know there's a car in front of him. That is the number 4, which is Jonathan Forward. However, Mr. Forward is not on a valid lap, so he either has to give space to the drivers on a valid lap, or he must get off the racing line and allow them to pass. Oh, Tim, I didn't even mention Tim. Yeah, you didn't have fun. You didn't have fun driving this on Thursday. In ACC, I do not like Oulton Park, and I do not like rain races. I'd rather drive in the rain than drive at Oulton Park. That's how much I do not like this track. Car number 5 with the easiest surname, says Asmid LV. Number 5, yes. That is Emre Sunmez. So he's actually missing his the umlauts on the O. So I believe it's pronounced Sunmez. Emre, please get with me and let me know if I did that right or wrong. Or Sunmez? Yeah, Sunmez? I call him Emre. Or how he doesn't like it when they call him. I think he doesn't like when they call him Emery, so I'm gonna call him Emery. Screaming to the top of the leaderboard, the number 5 Ferrari Nikos Papadimitriopoulos in the lead. 134.375 official qualifying time for him. That puts Nikos in provisional pole 1. Right under him, Artemi Savkin, 134.667, and under the second rung of the ladder to get on the third place of the podium, the number 111 Lamborghini, Roy Reiner. Car 5. Ah, I thought you meant P5, like place 5. At that time, it was a driver named Emre. But right now, it is Nikos. Nikos is in the lead for the rookies right now, showing off his stuff. Ignacy Just, the number 34 Lamborghini, P7 for them, coming through the checkered flag, through turn 1, as maybe we can get a quick onboard look to see how the rest of the track goes. Coming down into turns 2 and 3, known as Dentons and Cascades, now through Lakeside, which is a very, very flat out area. You're going to go through turns 4, which is known as Island Bend right here, and then Old Shells Corner, which is turn 5, which is the smallest little opening that you can have, going 2-3 wide into here, which we're probably going to see, which is going to be super interesting to see, to commentate that. Turn 6, now we do have the triple turns of turns 7, 8, and 9, which is kind of like a chicane, but not really, because you want to take it a lot faster than you think you should, as you can hit both of those red and white candy cane strips with your left side tire and the right side tires, not at the same time, but one after the other, and you're able to get past there pretty nicely. Coming now down into turns 10, 11, and 12, which is known as Hislops, and turn 12, which is known as Knickerbrook. Knickerbrook. Clay Hill next. Now into turns 14 Water Tower, turns 15 Druid Corner, which is a double right-hander, which is also very tough in my opinion. Warwick going under Warwick Bridge. Now turn 16 and the last turn, turn 17. We have Lodge Corner right here. So we can get a nice little coup down into the hard compression zone, up into the small little jump known as Deer's Jump, or Deer Leap, excuse me. And that's a lap of Oulton Park. Ignacy just crossed the finish line, P7 still. Not able to improve on their time. We do have a new leader though, Artemis Savkin, able to take off Nikos from the top of the leaderboard. Jonathan Forward moved up into P3, but now pushed back down into P4. The number 4 Ford Mustang for Fitted UK Sim Sport tasted a little bit of that podium, of that sweet podium, but unfortunately was kicked down by Roy Reiner as the official qualifying time for the rookies comes to an end. 7 minutes 35 seconds left in official qualifying time, which I do believe is going to be left up to the pros and AMs as we are on board now with the number 88 Ford Mustang, driven by Bartos. I have a question in the chat. Is this a 45-minute race or a 60-minute race? If my memory serves me correctly, this is a 45-minute race. Next week, which will be round 5, and the following week at round 6. So round 5 at Spa-Francorchamps and round 6 at Red Bull Ring will both be 60 minutes long. So rounds 5 and 6 are both 1 hour long. Tonight, at Oulton Park, it is a 45-minute race, 4-5. Which means tonight there will be a 25-minute pit window, which means drivers have 25 minutes to complete their mandatory pit stop. And speaking of drivers, I hear the roaring of the engines of the pros and AMs out on the track now as they try to fight for track and qualifying positions. On board now with the number 27 Ferrari, who takes a little tumble into the dirt, taking a little grass vacation, returns to garage, and we move on to the next car. The Aston Martin slide. See the number 911 Porsche driven by Gilles Velderman. A couple of other drivers around him, so it's going to be a little bit of traffic trying to get up to the start line before drivers can really start pushing their cars. I do see the number 27 out on the track again. That's very good to see him out there. So here we have some drivers warming up their tires, allowing the car in front of them a little bit more, granting them a little bit more space so that they themselves can have a comfortable qualifying lap. You do not want to catch up to the car in front of you or have someone catch up to you when you're on a qualifying lap, because it just mentally just doesn't have you in the right pocket, as some drivers would say. You're not in the right mindset, and you're not able to extract all of you can from the car if you have to worry about somebody coming up behind you, or even a car in front of you that is blocking your way. We'll be back at Spa with the Lexus. I hope to see you there. Spa is one of my favorite tracks. People say it's overrated, but I feel like it's probably the track that has everything. High altitude, low altitude, going from high to low, going from low to high, left sweeping turns, right sweeping turns, hard braking zones, all flat out zone. I think Spa has it all. Miguel Cizeron taking a quick little detour through the grass there, through Shell Corner. However, able to get back on track and continue their qualifying. Andres Espinosa in the chat, this race will be interesting. Always nice to have a night race. I do agree. I am a huge fan of night racing. None of the other staff will also tell you this as well, and I don't think anyone will agree to this. I may be the odd one out, but I prefer night racing. I really, really, really enjoy racing at night. So any track, even if it doesn't matter, it could be the toughest track, the smallest track, the biggest track. If it's at night, usually I have more fun. And I don't know if it's because I have, I don't know, like ESP, and I can kind of perceive where cars are going to be in the dark or what they're going to do in the dark. I kind of guess where the corner, I guess where the turning points are, but I kind of remember where they are. So it's like, I really don't need to look at the track. I kind of know where I'm going anyway. But just because I'm better at racing doesn't mean that my skills are good. Or better at racing, that doesn't mean I have good skills. It just means I'm better at night. Samuel von Leibenstein, the number 24 Porsche, moving up into P2. This is the tropical Porsche. The very nice yellow and lime green livery. Reminds me of a lime. Couple of cars going through traffic here. This is the number 35 Audi, driven by Pierre. P7 for Pierre. The 35 Audi has a 133.975 as their fastest time. I'm going to give the Audi more screen time because, of course, that screaming V10 is just music to my ears. And it is very sad, and I am very sad, that the V10s will be going away. I believe starting 2026, if not 2027. The new Lamborghini platform has been announced, and unfortunately, it will not sport a V10. It is sporting a twin-turbo V6. And Audi, if I remember correctly, is leaving GT racing. So I do not know if they won't have an upgraded platform, right? You won't have an Audi Evo 3, or you won't have like a new Audi or something. But I don't know how long the current Audi GT3 Evo, like the Evo 2 that's out right now, how long they're going to what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when Windows does updates and then they stop doing updates after a certain amount of years. It's like, are they gonna sunset the car? Are they going to continue not updating, but like keep it quote unquote like up to date for the series? Kind of how Lexus, I don't know if racing fans, if you also watch real life racing, but the GT, like in GT, I think it's GT Americas. There's in GT Americas, and I think in GT World Challenge, there are a couple of Lexus cars. And if I remember correctly, the Lexus is from 2016 and it has not been updated yet. So I don't know if they're going to run the same route with the Audi. It would be nice if they do, because the Audi is such an iconic car and such an iconic manufacturer that they should stay in GT racing. But something that's also staying, it's going to be Samuel von Leibenstein in the lead. It's going to be staying in the lead. 132.852 for Samuel in the number 24 Porsche. Not too far off from him, it's the number 276 Lexus, driven by Marcus Soberg. 133.017 for Marcus. Emre Sonmez, the number 27 Ferrari, provisional pole 3 in the pits. Looks like he's finishing his qualifying time, so that may or may not allow Raoul Ordelman to cross the finish line with a faster valid time and take P3 away from Emre. Let's keep an eye on them, Aston, and let's see where it's going. And that is the end of the official qualifying time. Raul Orderman, number 943, P4, not able to squeak out those last seconds or those last tenths of a second to get into P3. Yeah, Raul finished with 133.205. P3 Emery had 33.190, so less than a hundredth of a second between P2 and P3, and that is very close. But that is the end of official qualifying time. The number 669 Ford Mustang, driven by Johnny Marsh, not able to better their time, so they're going to be starting the grid in P15. That is the end of the official qualifying time, so we're going to be going to a quick intermission. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the starting grid walk. And we are back, racing fans, with the starting grid walk. Season 18, Round 4 of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. Your pole sitter in P1, the number 24 Porsche, driven by Samuel von Liebenstein. You are, racing fans, before we continue, you are going to be seeing penalties being handed out. These are success penalties. So if you place in either first place, second place, or third place in the last race, you are given a penalty for this race, or something that's called a success penalty. P2 for Baller Squad Racing, the number 276 Lexus, driven by Marcus Soberg. P3, Emre Sunmez for Baller Squad Racing, the number 27 Ferrari. P4, the number 943 Aston Martin, driven by Raul Ordelman. P5, Artemis Savkin, number 14 Ferrari. P6, Fulvio Dipolito, number 68 Porsche for Sim Racing Team. Pierre Meyer, number 35, Audi. P7, Martin Schut. P8, number 47. P9, Michael Hutchinson for Fitted UK Simsport, the number 32 Ford Mustang. And to round off your top 10, this is Vegard Heinrichsen, number 543 Porsche for Baller Squad Racing. I love seeing the teams, the multiple drivers for multiple teams. I know we have a lot of drivers for Fitted UK Simsport. We have some Baller Squad Racing teammates. I do believe we have Sim Racing Team teammates. If not, I did see them do one earlier, but I do not know if they're here now. In P12, the number 5 Ferrari, Nikos Papadimitriopoulos. Excuse me. However, we're going to call him Nikos Big Papa. So Nikos Big Papa, the number 5 Ferrari in P12. P13, Barry Dunn, the number 837 Ferrari. P14, Miguel Cizeron, the 999 Aston Martin. I think, Miguel, you were asking me in the chat if your livery is showing, and I do not see your livery. It is all black. If you like, after the stream, we can get together and we can work on that. I can help you with that. Number P15, Johnny Marsh, number 669 Ford Mustang for Fitted UK Simsport. P16, Roy Reiner, number 111, Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2, my favorite car. My Makarov, the number 46 Porsche in P17. I believe that is the flag of Slovakia. I may be incorrect. Please let me know in the chat what flag that was. P18, it's going to be Paul Dickinson. P19, Jonathan Forward for Fitted UK Simsport. P20, Andy Purcell for Fitted UK Simsport, number 42 Ferrari. P21, Jelle Velderman, the number 911 Porsche. Right behind him, Joel Vanderker In P22, P23, Ignacy Just. In the other Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2, one of my favorites. P24, Marcus Craven, fitted UK Simsport. P24, P25, Barstos Sislak. I'm mispronouncing this 100% because I know this is a Polish driver, and I have a terrible time mispronouncing Polish names, so I do apologize. P26, Caleb Jones. And your leader for the GT4s. P27, P2 for the GT4s, that's going to be Juan Diaz. P28, Alexander Fedorenko. P29, Bonus Charles. P30, Dean Solomon. P31, Anthony Victor Chappell. Chappell. No, that's an E, not an A. Jorens Solvicus, 728. Mercedes AMG GT4. Simon Kret, also in the Mercedes AMG GT4. Another Mercedes AMG GT4, this time driven by Tom Lesser. Michael Sokolovsky, the number 66 Porsche GT4 in P35. You have Adam Tai in the Cadbury Porsche sitting in the pits right now. It does look like he is going to be starting from the pits, or he just forgot to hit drive. Either or, he will be starting from the pits. That's a number 652 Porsche. P36 overall. P37 for Micah Nakoenchini. I think, is this the only Bentley we have on the grid? I believe this is the only Bentley we have on the grid. So, more power to you. Tristan van der Stoe in the number 145 Alpine. This is the GT4. Waller Johnson right behind him. This is the number 99 GT3. A couple of drivers are starting from outside of their class for today. Andres Espinosa in the number 72 Audi P39. Alnis Caris right behind him in P40. P41, Antoni Glowacz. P42, Adam Tai. So the numbers are starting to fix themselves. We did speak about that. Thiago Matos, the number 720, starting in P43. And last but not least, it is Mo Lunar, the number 721, sitting in the pit lane exit, waiting for the race to start. As we go to a helicam look, we're going to see the drivers get side by side as they get over the next couple of turns. As the anticipation grows, as we wait for the green flag to drop and the start of the race on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, thank you for tuning in to Season 18, Round 4 at Oulton Park. It is a little bit dark. It is 22 at night, and that is the green flag dropping, and that is the start of the race. 2 wide, 3 wide, almost in the middle. Side by side go the leaders of Marcus and Samuel, able to get by cleanly. A couple of cars being squirrely on the exit because it is cold, so tires are going to have less grip. I do see it looks like a BMW off there into turn 1, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them to get back on track, especially this small of a track when you have multiple cars going side by side coming in through the turns. We do see now going through Cascades and into turns 5 and 6 now. Or excuse me, into turns 4 and 5. Now the drivers are going to be going side by side, trying to get as much space as they can coming through the small turn that is Island Bell and Old Shell's Corner. Relatively clean so far between a bunch of the drivers. We do see some kitty litter being thrown up on the inside, so it does seem to me that some of their drivers are sticking their right-hand tires. And a terrible rejoin, it looks like, by the number 999 Aston Martin, rejoining right in front of one of the GT4s, causing them some damage and slowing down the rest of the pack behind them. We do see a speed difference between many of the cars here coming into turns 6, 7, and 8. And big contact between all the cars there, and that is a giant roadblock. What is going on here? Ay mi madre, what is happening on my screen? We're gonna get past, see if we can get past this roadblock, because it looks like all of the drivers are now on track again. There is no red flag being thrown out. So it does look like the race will continue at race speed. I don't see... Are they returning? Yes, they are returning, so it is a red flag. So we do have a red flag being thrown here for round 4 of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. What this means for a red flag is we're going to have the drivers return to garage. They must return to their pit lane, and they must accept any penalties being handed out to the drivers that are going to be given penalties. So as the rest of the drivers go back into the pit lane, we're going to go to a quick intermission. Please don't go anywhere, and we're going to be right back with the rest of the race. It is red flagged here for round 4 of GT Europe. It is a red flag, which means this session has been stopped, and we are going to restart the session. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back, racing fans. About 30 seconds left on the grid timer there as the drivers get their setups ready, put on, get the correct tires, pressures, get all the fuel they need, and get their brains and tires prepared for the rest of this race. As we all remember, racing fans, first lap, cold tires, cold brakes, cold brains. What that means is that at the beginning of the race, usually cold tires means that you're not going to be able to grip or have a lot of grip. So some of the moves that you were going to be thinking about making at the beginning of the race, you might want to hold off until a little bit after him. But what I mean by that is like 2 or 3 laps after, when your tires are warmed up and ready to go. Cold brakes, it's going to be harder for you to get into the correct braking zone and to actually stop on time. So you might want to brake a little bit earlier in the first lap or 2, maybe even coast into the braking zone compared to just letting off the gas and hitting the brake right away. And cold brains. Sometimes drivers may not be thinking in the first couple laps. They might lunge it in the first turn because they think they might win the race in the first turn. And as we all know, to finish first, you first must finish, which means sometimes making those risky moves at the beginning of the race isn't the smartest idea. Speaking a little bit more about Oulton Park as we see the drivers doing their pace lap. It's 2.6 miles around 4.3 kilometers. Hilltop is the highest part of the course. Located in Little Budworth, Cheshire, England. Opened in 1953, so this track has been around for a long time. 17 degrees Celsius on the track, 17 degrees Celsius ambient temperature, 17 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit is like 66, 67, something like that. So it is a very nice, cool night here in the British Outback. It is 22:17 at night, which means for you non-24-hour clock enjoyers, it is 10:17 p.m. Now just waiting for the drivers to get past the last couple of turns here. Coming down into the compression zone now, up Deer Leap. We're gonna see them go side by side, waiting for the green flag to drop. And there it is, the green flag drops and it signals the second start here for round 4 of Season 18 GT Europe. Both cars, again, the leader Samuel and Marcus side by side coming into turn 1. A lot cleaner for the rest of the cars coming out of turn 1 here. However, there may be a couple of stragglers in and around. We do see a car go off. That is looks like my Makarov off on the right side there, maybe bit off a little bit more that he can chew. A couple of other cars being, some contact there in the front. It looks like a GT4 and a GT3 just collecting each other. Yeah, that is a GT4. It's an AMG GT4 and a GT3 driver just collecting each other there at the start of Cascades, which is not somewhere that you want to have that speed differential happen, especially when someone is not paying attention and it's just really dark here, which makes it even tougher for the drivers to see where they're going. Emre on board now with Emre Sunmez, number 27 Ferrari on the back bumper of Raul Orderman, making sure, breathing down his neck and making sure that he's not going to keep that 3rd place comfortably as we move back a couple of spaces now. Vegard Heinrichsen up into P10. as we do have a couple of other cars. Just some contacts. I do see contacts, lots of contacts happening between cars. It look just, but however, it does look like door banging, if anything else. Do see a number 145 and the number 34 being a little bit slower than normal, so they may have gone off track, and they are trying to regain their track position there. Moving over to the number 68, this is Fulvio, who has a train of cars behind him as he comes now through turns 14 and 15. Excuse me, that's the last turn. So that's to Lodge Corner now, up into Deer Leap. As we now cross turn 1 for the second time, Old Hall Corner. Keeping an eye on the rest of the drivers. Doesn't look like anything too crazy has happened either. Oh, I sit corrected. I do see the number 66, and it looks like one or two other cars. That's number 45. So the 66 and the number 45 are both unfortunately off track, and it looks like Marcus Craven almost slamming into the back of that GT4 there. The speed difference coming out of Deer Leap is so crazy, and diving a bit deeper than he should have. The number 196 goes off track but gets back on track to continue their race. Moving up the standings here, still your leader, Samuel von Leibenstein now. About a second and a half lead in front of Marcus. Marcus with the second lead in front of Raul. Raul with less than a second behind, or in front of Emery. Emery sticking on the back bumper like glue there. Fulvio Di Polito rounding off your top 5. However, a gaggle of cars behind, not too far off behind them, as they are also all battling for position. That is a terrible camera angle. How dare you, cameraman? And a big slide by the Ferrari. That's number 47. Oh no, that's Martin. Martin, unfortunately, it looks like both of his left-hand tires just hit the dirt. And here, with the elevation changes and just how much grip you're lacking, those tires completely just had no grip, and you just spun. It looks like he just spun them in the dirt, and it just took them out. The number 728 is also off. Looks like the number 28 was also off track. We have the number 69, the number 728. Looks like they're struggling a little bit here in the dark. Couple drivers struggling more than others. We're also going to be keeping an eye on the tree, because as we can tell on the left hand side of our screen, we do have the timing tree, or the position tree, however you would like to call it. And we do have different number plates. So we have red number plates, gray, silver number plates, and white number plates. Red number plate means you are a rookie. You are in the rookie category. A silver number plate means you are an amateur, or in the silver category. As you do see Pierre, it looked like he was almost battling someone there. He is. Is he battling someone? He is battling someone. It's going to be Fulvio and Pierre fighting each other for P5 position. Let's go on board and see if we can get a better look from behind here, and see how close this Audi can get to the Porsche coming into turn 1 now. The Audi and the Porsche, arguably the toughest cars to drive in ACC. You could argue that the Honda NSX is also arguably very tough, as you can probably also tell we do not have a single Honda on the grid, which is very unfortunate. But both cars arguably hard to drive, but both drivers making it look relatively easy. You can see the exhaust of that Porsche starting to glow a little red hot there. But again, going back to the number plates, because I got distracted. The silver number plates, you are an amateur driver, and the white number plate means you are a pro driver. Now, they are all on the grid at the same time. Or, excuse me, so there is also a red number plate with a blue square or triangle if the tree will change tree, there you go. So a red background with the blue bottom triangle you see on the bottom right hand of that number plate, that detonates them as a GT4. So all of the ones with a blue little triangle there at the bottom right hand of their square means that they are a GT4 driver. Caleb Jones in the lead for the GT4s, as we do actually take a quick look at them now that we are already here. Juan Diaz not super far off. About almost 4 seconds between Caleb and Juan. Was this due to multi-class traffic? I'm gonna say yes. I want to say yes. Usually the GT4s have a lot closer racing, but here, I don't know what it is, but the GT3 traffic just sliced and diced them, just trying to get past there, and a dive there by the number 4. Little flashies from Juan, letting him know that he's not very happy about that dive. Moving up, though, to your GT4 leader, Caleb Jones, the number 48 GT4 for 748 competition. 15-second time penalty for the number 48. That is the success penalty, as we were talking about earlier. Andres in the chat, what a disaster. I do agree. Anytime there's a red flag, it's never a good thing. It means less racing for you guys, and it means more work for us. So nobody wins. Speaking of winning, Emery trying to get side by side with the Aston Martin. Is he side by side into the braking zone? He is. Tries to go around the outside, but a lot of that tire spalling and tire marbling there is going to make the grip a lot more difficult than what he probably perceived, especially here in the dark, where it's a lot harder to see where those tire marbles are. But the Aston Martin able to take the inside line and keep that P3 position away from Emery. But Emery down, but not out. Sticking on that back bumper like glue. Go Gadget extendo arm, says Emery, as they go through Cascades now and into Lakeside. You can see the top 4 drivers here all in a line. We do see the Audi in the back. That's number 35 Audi. That's P5. 3.5 seconds between P5 and P4. 3.5 seconds may seem like a lot, but 3.5 seconds is visual distance. That means you can see the car in front of you. And sometimes that's all a driver needs to give them the extra little oomph to catch up. Emery getting so close on the back bumper of that car there, but Johnny Marsh, the number 669 Ford Mustang, also on the back bumper of this Ferrari in front of him. Coming now through turns 7, 8, and 9, known as Britain's. The glowing red-hot exhaust of that Ford Mustang on the side there. Andy Purcell trying to make a move a couple of cars back. Looked to the inside. However, the number 42 Ferrari elected to stay on the racing line right behind that Porsche. GT4 battles happening. Bonus Charles trying to catch up with the Tom Lesser, who does have some front end damage there. You can see that a small little gap between the front, excuse me. I was going to call it a frunk, but I don't think it's a frunk because that car has the engine in the front. It's not a front trunk. So you can see the gap between that front bumper and the hood there of the AMG GT4, which may or may not affect handling. It depends on the driver. We really can't tell unless the driver lets us know. But it is going to be affecting their top speed and maybe their acceleration, because it does look like there is damage to the front splitter as well. However, that just may be the lighting, the way the lighting works here at Oulton Park. We do have our official pit window open now, so drivers are now allowed to go into the pits and get those mandatory refueling. Tires are optional. It is dark. It is Oulton Park, and Oulton Park, you normally want to take tires, I feel, just because of the elevation changes and how much tire degradation there's going to be. There's contact, a big contact between the number 720 and the number 45. Let us see if we can get a replay of that. Number 720 coming on through into the braking zone. He goes through turn 1. Doesn't look like there's any contact so far. Is there contact there? Oh, that's where the contact is. Okay. So this is, I think, a little bit before than what we were wanting to see. But there was contact there between Thiago Matos and one of the GT4s. It did look like Thiago was trying to space himself next to the GT4, but unfortunately not able to get the correct amount of spacing down. So now we do have the number 720 just driving through the bollards and the signs here. It is McLaren on McLaren violence because it is a McLaren taking out the McLaren signs. The driver is just driving straight on through. The number 39 or the number 720 is not going to be looked upon favorably by the stewards if the stewards get wind of this. Oulton Park, such a tough track to drive in the dark. No lights there to shine in the faces of the drivers, to illuminate the track in front of them or behind them. The only thing that they have is the lights on their cars and the lights on all the other cars. That's the only thing that they're able to use. I'm wondering if the drivers bring like a big enough, strong enough flashlight, if they can just put that on the front of their car and use that. Are they allowed? Is that allowed? Get one of those like 1,000 lumen, or like not 1,000, like a 100,000 lumen flashlights or something. Yellow flag there, so yellow caution for the number 720, who is still in the dirt there, taking a little dirt nap. The number 800 diving into the pits, trying to get an early pit stop. So a couple of places will be changed there. Barry Dunn moving up into P15 now, trying to catch up to Andy Purcell, who is less than a second away from him. However, Barry has to contend with the GT4 traffic in front of him. And that is racing fans. One of my favorite things to do in racing is just multi-class racing in general. Not just fighting, not just having a battle between you and a car in your class, but also having to get around a car in a slower class, or maybe two battling cars in a slower class. You're gonna have to get around them somehow, so you're gonna have to use your driving knowledge and skills to get around them without affecting their race, which is, in my opinion, a great skill to have. Side by side now, coming into the braking zone, Joel Vanderker and Martin Schultz. Martin on the inside, Joel Vanderker along the outside. The number 431 having to give up the position to the number 47 Ferrari, who had a better run along that corner there. So that is moving Martin up into the P10, breaking down the gate of the top 10 spots, sitting himself right there at the entrance. P10 for the number 47 Ferrari. That is so unfortunate. We went on board here with the number 5, Nico's Big Papa in P7, and we did see a GT4 in the background. I don't know if they were helped or if that was self-inflicted, but a GT4 spun coming out of, that was turn 6, I believe. I cannot remember the name. Shell Corner. It's right after Shell Corner. Coming out of, or in the middle of turn 6, it looked like they were on the top of the turn. They either hit the left side with the left side tires in the dirt or something, but it spun them and pushed them down to the lower part of the track. And it did look like one of the GT3s was trying to get round, and then just a GT4 just magically appeared in front of them. To no fault of probably anyone, honestly. Drivers have started throwing themselves into the pit lane. Marcus Marcus Soberg in the number 276 is in the pits, getting that pit stop done. Still on board with Johnny Marsh, just trying to travel his way through traffic. A couple of GT4s there. We do see the Chevy GT4 there of Anthony Victor Chappell. Trying to get around the track as well, trying to stay out of the way of the GT3 traffic while also still continuing to race their race. Some close action here happening between Jonathan Forward and that Porsche. Side by side they go. Who wants it more? Oh, Joe, we missed it, but Jonathan Forward thrown into the grass there. The car turned around. That is on the inside of Shell's oil corner, so he's not even at the turn. It's like more along the inside. That's like almost 300 meters to the right of where you want to be. Jonathan's going to have to wait a couple of seconds to see if he can rejoin safely here as he goes through that small little entrance opening through Shell's oil corner and rejoins on track. I definitely want to see if this was self-inflicted or if this was all on his own. Let's see if we can get a quick look at the number 4. This is not the incident we are looking for, or is it? It is, yes. Or this may be one of them. So unfortunately, yeah. So in the dark, it's so much harder sometimes to measure the centimeters that you are away from the edge of the track. And sometimes you just bite off a little more than you can chew, which unfortunately throws you off the track and into the grass here. Oulton Park, not very friendly to off tracks, if I do say so myself. Paul Dickinson trying to get past the GT4s here. Three-way battle between Waller Johnson, Adam Ty, and Marcus Soberg. All of these drivers were relatively within the same distance. It looks like Marcus has backed off a little bit because he did come out of the pits. Joel Vanderker is now in the pits as well. So that puts the number 431 in the pit lane, getting that necessary fuel. However, they are going to be losing overall positions because of this, because of the early pit stop. Number 943 in as well. P4 for them. They elected to go in early. It looks like I don't think anyone else in the top 10 has decided to go into the pit lane yet. 15 minutes 44 seconds in the mandatory pit window. 25 minutes 40 seconds left in the overall race. Nikos Papadimitriopoulos, excuse me, was on the back bumper of Vegard Heinrichsen, but he heard me mispronounce his name so terribly that he had to slow down his car so he can tune in to the stream and get mad at me. I do apologize, Nikos, again. But my American education did not help me with pronouncing words just at all in general. I can't even speak English half the time. Big Papa on the back of the number 543 Porsche. Just one GT4 car as traffic. However, the GT4 is allowed to stay on their racing line. They don't really have to move out of the way. As we see the cars coming through the last couple of turns here. There is a change in the lead. Our new race leader, Emre Sönmez, the number 27 Ferrari, now in the lead. Who's in the pit lanes? That is your race leader, who was originally your race leader, Samuel, in the number 24. Now in the pit lane, electing to take their mandatory pit stop now. That is a car going around there in the corner of Shell Oil's corner. I think that is the Aston Martin of Antoni Glowacz. I may be sitting corrected, however, Antoni is going to have to, if that is him, that is the number 976. So yeah, that is Antoni. Antoni's going to have to wait an extra couple of seconds to rejoin safely, as we do see from our track map a bunch of other cars now making it over to Shell's Oil corner. I looked away for half a second, and then I look back, and I do see Emre off the track. So Emre Sonmez biting off more than you can chew into the braking zone there of turn 10 after Foster's coming into turns 10, 11, 12, which is known as Hillsops, and then Knickerbrook. He just went off into the runoff there in that little area. In the chat, I believe nobody's mad if you mispronounce their surname, so it's all okay. It's a joke. I try my best to pronounce everyone's surname as best as I can. Anytime you hear me being deprecating or like, oh, I'm so sorry, I messed this up. I am sorry, but I do try my best. So if someone does want to correct me, you're more than welcome to correct me. I do know that I have a hard time. And someone else that's having a hard time. That's number 45, right? Number 45 or the number 445. Who also just had a little spill there. Sometimes, see, if you're going so fast through Cascades and Lakeside, right when you get to Island Bend, if you're not at the correct part of the track so that you can hit that full speed, you're gonna wipe out wide or wash out wide, and this is gonna take you straight into that corner, into that wall. Around the outside he goes. Emery trying to take as much position advantage as he can, trying to get past all the cars in front of him. Technically, they are blue flags. So they must give the position. Here at Odyssey Racing League, if you are given a blue flag, you must give up or help facilitate a clean overtake within 2 sectors of that blue flag. But going back to surnames, I think the only surnames that I have a lot of trouble pronouncing are Polish surnames. Yeah, number 24 did lose the lead. He's in the pits now. He moved all the way down to number 9. Our race leader as well, Emre, now in the pits as well. So that means that we're going to most probably have a new race leader as we actually move over to Nikos Big Papa in the number 5 Ferrari, crossing the finish line. Is he going to be taking the lead? It is. We do have a new race leader. It's a number 5 Ferrari, Nikos Papadimotropoulos. But yeah, going back to surnames, sometimes I mispronounce them because there are a couple letters I just, certain, like, we all know, right? Countries have languages. Sometimes languages have different rules than others. So sometimes I'll be looking at a name and I think a letter is pronounced, but the letter is silent. Or like, in other languages, there are accents on letters. So like there's the umlaut. There is, I've seen, one of the languages that I speak is Spanish, right? So when I read and write in Spanish, there are accents, and I know about those accents, but I don't know how they work in other languages. So sometimes I try my best. I put a little Spanish flair to it sometimes. I don't know if you racing fans will hear that every once in a while. But if I don't know how to pronounce a name, I'll almost pronounce it like if I was talking in Spanish. Because sometimes that does actually help me pronounce things better. Speaking of doing better, the number 652, this is the Cadbury Porsche driven by Adam Kai. Adam, an incredible race so far. I believe he started from the pits, if not dead last from the pits. Now P9. That is incredible. A couple of other drivers throwing themselves into the pit lane. Johnny Marsh, the number 669, now in the pits. That is going to be moving a lot of the cars up a couple of standing spots. Your original race leader, Samuel, in the number 24 is now P5. Your second race leader, Emre, in the number 27, now P6. Your race leader right now, Nikos, Big Papa, the number 5 Ferrari, your new race leader. Some more actioning happening on a different part of the track. The number 911 Porsche trying to get past this GT4 traffic so that they can start fighting for position with the car in front of him. Well, only a second and a half between Yell and Waller Johnson there. Waller Johnson and number 99 McLaren, a little bit ahead of this Porsche here, but not too far. Do see a yellow flag on the track for the number 721. That is a local caution there at Shell Oil's corner. That is such a deadly corner. I honestly expected more brutal deaths to happen at turn 7, 8, 9, at the triple turns of 7, 8, 9, or the second set of triple turns, which would be 10, 11, 12. I predicted that would be where the most carnage, mayhem, destruction, annihilation, all the smiting, any kind of verb that you could think of. I thought all of that was going to be happening there at that corner. But it looks like to be that it's Shell Oil's corner, which is the bloodiest, deadliest corner here for round 4 of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. Season 18 to be exact. And something also that we probably can't tell from the angle that we are up here from the TV cameras, but there is also lots and lots of bumps on this track. This track is not smooth at all. There are so many bumps that in places where you least expect it, that it's sometimes trying to overtake in a spot where that you do not know where the bumps are is worse for you than letting a car pass or just waiting until the next straight or something. Velderman just diving a little bit too deep into the braking zone there. Bites off more than he can chew. He's going to have to go through the runoff and get back out on track. I don't know if he's going to have to give the position up. It didn't look like there was a car within a second or so of him where he would be forced to give up that position. But it does look like that everything is settling out nicely now without... We didn't see it on our screen, but Nico's Big Papa, the number 5 Ferrari that was in the lead, has elected to take their pit stop. They are already out of the pits now, and it did push them down into P6. So we do have now a new race leader, and they have finished their pit stop. So this is the number 35 Audi, driven by Pierre. Pierre, with their fastest time of 1:33.642. The fastest time on track, though, is held by one of the Baller Squad Racing drivers. This is the number 276. Their fastest time, 1:33.127. Very fast times, especially in the dark. Fulvio alongside the Ford Mustang. It looks like the Ford Mustang gave it up there. This is Johnny Marshall, number 669 Ford Mustang, electing to not have a battle here and saying, you know what, we might not have a fight here, but I'm going to wait until a little later to start the violence, as some drivers would say. Andres Espinosa in the chat. Seems like the track is too narrow, difficult for most of the players' skill. The race with most incidents I've seen. So yes, this is a very difficult track to race in my opinion, especially multi-class and especially at night. 7 minutes left in the race. Your rookie race leader so far is Nikos Big Papa, the number 5 Ferrari. P6 overall, but leading your rookies. P2 is held on by Paul Dickinson for the rookies, and P3 was Joel Vanderker for the rookie drivers. This is the red-plated numbers. We did have Adam Ty in the lead for the rookies for the longest time. Was able to stay out on track without having to go into the pit lane to finish their mandatory pit stop. But as soon as he went into the pit lane, he started started hemorrhaging positions. And so that pushes Adam Ty down 4 spots in the rookie standings. Silver drivers, your silver leader right now is actually Vegard Heinrichsen. Vegard and Andy Purcell are battling it out until the very bitter end. 6 minutes left in the race. And they're going to be battling for the race win for the silvers. It is 12 and 13 overall, except they are battling within their own classes as well. Do have another close battle. It's a 3-way battle happening between P7, P8, and P9. That's Johnny Marsh, Alnis Karis, and Martin Shute. All 3 of these drivers battling for position. All 3 of them pro drivers as well. Michael Hutchinson in the number 32 Ford Mustang, a little bit farther back, but a 30-second time penalty is going to be very detrimental to his race, especially within the last 5 minutes. Martin along the inside of the number 800 Porsche, trying to see if he can get grip here along the inside. The Porsche somehow had way more grip along the outside, which is relatively crazy to me because you can't really tell in the dark. But there in that corner, that part of the track has so much tire marbling that it's just almost impossible to get crazy grip there. We do have a stop and go for the number 45 That is brutal. I do say so myself. Number 45 has been given a drive-through with 5 minutes left to go. Ah, that pains me. And I'm not even driving. Caleb Jones, still your leader for the GT4s. Juan Diaz about 17 and a half seconds behind. So if nothing crazy happens to Caleb or no bad or ill-mannered traffic happens to him, he's going to be crossing the finish line and taking the checkered flag as your winner for the GT4s. However, 4 minutes, 23 seconds left in the race. Anything can happen. Anthony Victor Cheppel. Oh, that's a sideways Porsche. That was that the Porsche of Dean Solomon. I think that was the GT4 Porsche of Dean Solomon being thrown sideways there on the track, and then the GT3s just had nowhere to go, and it's just pow right in the kisser. That's the number 873. Let me see if we can get some video of what happened here. Number 873 slows down a little bit along the outside. Oh, just contact there between the Porsche and the... Okay, so the Chevy going a little bit too quick through the turn there. Did not anticipate how much Dean Solomon would slow down for that turn, and unfortunately just rams right in the back of him. That is not fun to see. Do apologize, racing fans, as well, for the small segment where there was no commentary. Martin, unfortunately, going far too... Oh, trying to make it through the uprights. That is not an extra point. The extra point is no good. Martin going off the track there at the Lakeside mini straight, trying to make it through that tiny gap there in the wall between Shell Oil's corner, not able to make it. Smack right into the wall, and that is going to be extensive damage to the front end of that Ferrari. I am surprised he's able to keep it straight on the track, honestly, because usually with that amount of damage, you're going to have damage to your steering column and your steering. We do see the lights flashing on the front of that car, so that means that there is extensive damage, and hopefully they're able to see, actually, because we can see the lights, but sometimes the driver themselves, like if you're in the car, you won't be able to see the lights, and it makes it hard because Oulton Park has no lights on the track, or if there are, it's very little, like those little lights there. Those are residential lights, I'm pretty sure. Those are like lights to houses or buildings. Like, they're not even like the lights to the track. So Michael Hutchison, the number 32 Ford Mustang, trying to get past the number 47. Number 47 diving into the pits, hitting the wall there a little bit, trying to slow down as much as he can for the pit lane entrance, excuse me. Loving my words there. As we do see Nikos moving back up into the lead for the rookies. Or still in the lead for the rookies. Nikos, Big Papa, the number 5 Ferrari, still in the lead. P10 overall, but in the lead for the rookies. Your overall race leader, Pierre, still in the lead. The number 35 Audi, 8.5 seconds in front of the number 24 Porsche, who is in P2. 24 driven by Samuel von Liebenstein. Samuel with the fastest time still on track, 133.095. So just a chin hair away from 132s. Couple of yellow flags being handed out. Martin now coming out of the pits, or still in the pits, excuse me. That is probably going to be an extensive repair. I think his race may be done, actually, with that amount of damage. A couple of flags being being flown around some of the GT3 cars. The 777 is off the track. That is Tom Lesser. That's one of the GT4s, I believe. That is off the track there at Shell Oil's corner. So he's gonna have to wait before he can rejoin safely. 24 seconds left on the official race time. We're going to be keeping an eye on our leader here because he may or may not cross the finish line before that timer ends, or we may have one more lap to go. Let's keep an eye on the number 35 Audi. Flashing some of the lights, maybe flashing a little bit early. We're going to be seeing what he does. Is he doing the smart move? He crosses the finish line. The leader is on the final lap. He crossed with 1 second left. Pierre, no, Pierre. Pierre trying to time it. Trying to time it perfectly, unable to get the timing down, off by 1 second, which that slowdown that he did is allowing Samuel to catch up. Samuel now 2 seconds behind the leader is the number 24 Porsche with that top end speed and the glowing exhaust in the back, able to catch up to the number 35. I hope Pierre is able to stay out in the lead, because that will be such tragedy if the number 35 loses it here at the end, because he thought he was going to cross the finish line before the after the timer went off, but he crossed it with 1 second left. What an incredible turn of events for the last part, or the last second of the race here. Emery trying to use this last lap to his advantage on the back bumper of the 943. Raul trying to defend and make that Aston Martin as wide as he can, going through the Kenny Kane strips, or the Kenny Kane chicane of the 7, 8, 9 turns of Britons. Now going through hilltops and going through turns 10, 11, and 12. Still keeping an eye on our race leader, as we also keep an eye on the car behind him, Samuel von Leibenstein, trying to catch up as they go through the last couple of turns. That is the GT4. That's Tom Lesser's GT4. Still trying to make it across the track with extensive damage on the front. That is not something that makes me happy to see. However, something that makes me happy to see is your race winner, the number 35 Audi, crossing the finish line, taking the checkered flag, and your winner for round 4 of season 18 GT Europe, Pierre Meyer. In P2, Samuel von Liebenstein, the number 24 Porsche, crossing the finish line. P3, at the last second, the number 943 and the number 27 fighting to the very bitter end. However, it is the number 943 Raul Ortelman taking the checkered flag in P3. Moving over to the driver who looks to be crossing the finish line first between the rookies and the pros. Excuse me, between the rookies and the AMs. Off our screen, this battle happened off our screen and we didn't get to see the end of it, but Vegard Heinrichsen able to get past Andy Purcell, and that puts him as the leader for the amateur drivers, bar anything happening within this last couple of turns. Nikos in the number 5 Ferrari, P10 overall, however, going into the last turn, P16 Lodge corner, down into the hard compression zone, up turn 17 Deer Leap, crossing the finish line and taking the checkered flag. Your winner for the rookies, Nikos Papadimitriopoulos. And right behind him, your winner for the silver drivers, your amateur winner, Vegard Heinrichsen, the number 543 Porsche. P11 overall, however, your winner for the AM drivers. Congratulations to our winners. Andy Purcell crossing the finish line, P12, who has yet to cross the finish line. It looks like everyone's crossed the finish line so far. And I believe that is it for our race. That is the end of our race. A couple of cars still out on track. Oh, there it is. It's the number 976. So Anthony Gloat still trying to finish up his lap here. We have a couple of cars I need to finish. The number 976, the number 4, and the number 196. Except it looks like the number 196 is in the pit lane. So they have elected to finish their race. We also need the number 4. Where is the number 4? Oh, the number 4 is also in the pit, so they have elected to finish their race. The number 976 Aston Martin passing through the last couple of turns. Last but not least, crossing the finish line. And that is the official end to round 4 of season 18 GT Europe, presented by Odyssey Racing League. Your race winner, Pierre Meyer, I believe that's how it's pronounced, the number 35 Audi, P2, Samuel von Liebenstein. And P3, Raoul Ortelman. That is your top 3 overall. Your winner for the amateur drivers, the silver drivers, the number 543 Porsche, Vegard Heinrichsen. And your winner for the rookie drivers, the number 5 Ferrari, Nikos Big Papa. And with that, that's going to be it from us here in the broadcasting booth. Thank you so much for joining me today, tonight, in the future, whenever you're joining and tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in to round 4 of GT Europe Season 18. On behalf of Odyssey Racing League, my name is Christian Julian. I also go by Koju here. You can find us at discord.gg/Odyssey Racing League if you want to get into contact with us, or maybe if you want to join us out on the track. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.
When you want to get off that darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too.